Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer and I'm here to build a model kit and a Lego set and of course to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, go ahead and reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber or you have no intention of ever becoming one, well, you can throw, whatever random emotes in the chat or just say hi. Or if you feel like being a lurker, go ahead and lurk. You got my permission. Ghost Valve is here. Hello, Ghost Valve. Welcome, welcome. It's a Thursday night. It's the It's the premiere night for model kit building and Lego building and conversation about wrestling and video games and me being mad about things. Every stream, there should be a little bit of opportunity for me to get mad about a thing. And of course, in the second hour, I'll talk about some anime and some video games. Lashbrook is there. Hello, Lashbrook. In the second hour, I'll talk about some Next Fest games, demos that I played. That's right. I played demos this time. I remembered to do it. And one of them whipped ass. And one of them was kind of fucking cool. And then a couple were like, fine. I haven't played enough. I'm hopefully going to play more this weekend so I can talk about them on Saturday. Here's your wrestling update. There's another thing I want to talk about. We'll talk about the first thing. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. The thing that seemed like it was decided at Royal Rumble, but then on Friday was not decided. But then on Monday was still not really decided, but was decided. And then, yes, tonight at the kickoff, it was decided. But will The Rock stand for it? Because it's not the match The Rock wants. And The Rock is now corporate Rock once again. And it could end up just being a fucking tag match. It could be Seth and Cody versus Rock and Roman. You know, like the first WrestleMania was a tag match. Hey, Lord Crashington. So this could be a tag match too. Instead of Roman versus Cody. And again, I do think Cody's going to lose to Roman. If it is a singles match, it's just very funny. It's very funny that all of this is so unnecessary for what was a slam dunk. It's very wild and weird and nonsensical. And The Rock slapped Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes didn't attack him because he can't legally do that, I guess. Rock need to look strong in his heel role as the new Mr. McMahon. Just don't call him that because there are implications to that title that he certainly does not fucking want. It's against wrestling law. Yeah. You can't make The Rock look weak, and you got to boo him because he wants you to boo him, not because you want to boo him. You need to boo him because it's part of the storyline, because all of this was planned. All of this was planned. Drew McIntyre inadvertently hurt CM Punk on purpose, throwing everything into the works, and then The Rock decided, well, this is my chance to fight Roman, because that's a better main event, and I'll save the company by doing that. That was all planned. This has been planned this whole time. This convoluted nonsense that doesn't make any sense and makes several people in the company look incredibly foolish. It's all been planned. This groundswell of support for their number one babyface and their guy who sells the most merch in the company was all their idea. It's not a groundswell of support. It's the audience going along with the story that was written for them to enjoy. It's unbelievable how believably foolish. When I think about the number of brilliant people I know that have no money, no stock, no investment, no outside demand for their talent. And then I think about all the people who are dumber than dirt, who are millionaires and billionaires. It's enough to make you just incredibly frustrated. Just the dumbest people in the world. Like, Dwayne Johnson couldn't take over the DCU and make himself the number one boss and hero of that organization or that branch. And now he's just going to do it in the WWE, and it's sad. It's sad. People would have forgiven him for making some bad movies, because that's mostly what The Rock makes. The Rock makes bad movies that people seem to like some of, and forgive him for the ones that aren't good, that they don't like. And he could have just kept making movies. Lord Crashington's got a 35 stream streak. That's so many streams. Thank you, Lord Crashington. But yeah, The Rock just doesn't need to do this. And it's sad. Anyway, it's all planned, and it was all part of the storyline, and all this is intricate. And if you think that they're scrambling and just making up as they go along, well, that's never been WWE's style. So why would they start doing that now? It has, and it is their thing. It's what they do. The example, we're going to get into model kit building. Let's start working on a leg here. Let's go to the overhead while I say this. I'm chatting too much here without building while I'm chatting. The thing that I like to always mention is that this happened several years ago. There was a video package about how he's coming. And it was a little kid in school, and he was apparently a weird kid. And it looked like the Jeremy music video. Years and years after the Jeremy spoke in class today. Years and years after that effect. But it looked like Jeremy video, and it's a kid, and it's like, he's coming, and he's coming. And then it was revealed that the person that was coming was Kane. Kane was coming back from an injury. And it's like, oh, that video package makes a lot of sense for Kane. Kane's coming back. They made it a big deal. That's awesome. Here's the thing. When that video aired, Kane was not cleared to come back. And when they made that video, they didn't know who it was for. Someone pitched the idea of this video package, and they approved the video package, and then had to figure out who was the person that they were talking about. And that's not hyperbole. That's real. That's a thing that happened. Because the WWE does not think of the end game and work their way backwards. They think of moment-to-moment things, and then they have to make sense of the moment-to-moment things that they've thought of. That has been their style for years. It's, okay, and this happens and that happens. Now, occasionally, they do think about, well, we know this is where it's going to go. We don't know how we're going to get there. They do think about that. I'm not saying they don't. But they're more likely to be like, all right, and this week, well, who do we have? Okay, so this will happen, and that'll happen, and we'll do this, and then we'll do that. And, well, I guess that person should win. But, actually, a lot of heels have won tonight, so we'll have a babyface win. We're not even going to book. We'll have them win tonight, but they're not going to get booked for another 3 weeks. It's okay. It'll all work out. And that's kind of been their style forever. That's just kind of been their vibe. Is they're like, well, it'll work out. We'll figure it out. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. And they just got to go with it. That's just kind of been their whole steez for many, many years. And it works when it works. And when it doesn't work, it's wildly inconsistent. And it is what it is. The number one thing is that the WWE is a promotion that is flying by the seat of its pants, but also hates the idea that anyone is telling them what to do. So if the audience gets invested in a wrestler, without them also being invested in that wrestler, it is a kiss of death. It is unbelievably like, no, what? No. It's when Miro, then Rusev, he was a heel. He was a mid-card heel. You know, he'd been kind of top of the card heel, but he was a mid-card heel. He was doing fine. He was just kind of going. Didn't really have anything going on. The crowd didn't enjoy that part of it because they liked Miro. They liked Rusev. They liked Rusev Day. Every day is Rusev Day. He had a ring announcer, his own personal announcer saying it's Rusev Day. And the crowd bought Rusev Day t-shirts. And it was like, I hope you're having a great Rusev Day. And they were into it. And it was really fun. But they were like, clearly the audience was behind him. And they wanted Rusev to do more in the WWE and move up and get opportunities because he was a guy that they liked. But that wasn't the plan. And when that's not the plan, the WWE gets fucking furious because they know better. In some instances, they certainly do, right? They do know that the audience is fickle. They do know that the audience, once someone is, they do know that sometimes the audience is just along for the ride and then probably not necessarily happy with where it's going to go, and they could change their minds at the drop of a hat, and they understand. They kind of understand that about the audience. But if the audience decides they like you and the WWE machine has not come to that conclusion, they get fucking pissed off about it. And in the case of Rusev, who was getting over in a way that they were not interested in, then suddenly he wasn't doing anything. Suddenly he was not getting the opportunities that he should have, even for the status that he was in. And when he, pitched himself, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to grab the brass ring. You're supposed to, push opportunities. He brought up, hey, I sell a lot of merch. Like, the thing you care about, you have said that you care about very much in this company is merch sales. I am organically selling a lot of merch without much promotion, without really being on big shows or winning. I'm still selling a ton of merch. They were like, oh, well, that's ironic. Those are ironic sales. People are spending $25, $30 on shirts because they're ironically like you. And one, that's completely false. That's nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. All right, I'm really fucking up this thing. I'm trying to figure out how and why I'm fucking this up. Try to stop myself from fucking this up. That's nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. Ironic t-shirt sales doesn't make any sense at all. But even if that's the case, even if he is ironically doing well and the audience is spending a bunch of money ironically, that's still a bunch of fucking money, right? Like, that's still, and many more people would get on board if you pushed it, if you put the machine behind him. Like, doesn't that translate? Wouldn't that be good? But no, can't get yourself over. Gotta be, hey, Dirty. Sorry, I should say hi, Dirty. Gotta be part of their decision making, right? It can't be an organic choice. And it's weird. It's a weird thing that they do that they've never really gotten over. Anyway, WrestleMania is still going to be WrestleMania. There'll be some good matches. There'll be some bad matches. There will be more scandal reveals and more conversations about incredibly tough topics over the course of the next 2 months as we lead to what probably isn't actually Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, even though Triple H said that's official. There's still 2 months of shenanigans afoot to change, and it probably, honestly, will end with a tag match, which is not anything anybody really needs. But if you're going to have The Rock in a match at WrestleMania, it probably should be a tag match because he doesn't really have it anymore and shouldn't really be in a singles match of any prominence. So it'll probably end up being a tag match, which is weird and not necessarily what it should be, but whatever. Wrestling's bizarre. Wrestling continues to be bizarre in so many different facets because Scott D'Amore is out at TNA, formerly known as Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA Wrestling. Scott D'Amore, who's been around for many years, is many would call the heart and soul of that, the booker, the runner, the guy that saved the company, the guy that made moves to keep it relevant and to get it to the points where when they sold to Anthem, he was still in a good position of the creative lead of the company, and found a home for it and just weathered all of it. And it's made a product that, like, in some instances is still kind of not great. Like, the wrestling is all stellar and the storylines are still like whatever, but that's also fucking TNA/Impact. Like, it's fine. It's a great place for people to wrestle and work a pretty all right schedule and make some money, get their names out there and do well and then survive. It is the third biggest wrestling company in North America. Or sorry, it's the third biggest wrestling company in America. If I said North America, it's probably the fourth, because AAA is probably the third biggest. And CML is probably smaller than Impact. Don't come for me, CML stands. Your company, the company you like, is small. That's kind of they're lean. They've been around for a long time, but they're fucking lean. So anyway, third biggest U.S. company. And Anthem was like, hey, you know this guy that's been doing great, and we've had some of our best shows, and people are really behind this rebrand of the classic brand and all that. Yeah, he's going to be gone because we want to make it more in-house. The description that I have given to this when I've been asked by a couple people what's going on over there on Impact or TNA is Anthem wants it to be Anthem's TNA, not TNA on Anthem. And you can't be Anthem's TNA if the guy who runs it is the heart and soul of it, and he's not one of your people. Baldry says, I love listening to someone talk about something they really care about, even if I know next to nothing about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, Baldry. I do, I do appreciate that stuff. I listen to 2 F1 podcasts. Have I ever watched an F1 race? No. No. Never. Will I ever? Probably not. I probably won't ever. But you tell me that Rob Zachney's going to talk about F1, I'm kind of on board for it. And there's another one that's run by some comedians that I like that is on hiatus. But if it comes back, I'm gonna listen to it again. There's one feature frogs in the background. Suits got in the way says crazy. Yes, in the case of TNA, TNA, it suits. So actually, here's what we do know. We do know through the dirt sheets that Scott D'Amore approached Anthem with the intent to purchase back TNA from them, to keep it a contract to air there, but for him to take ownership of the company and them to just be, instead of owners, them to just be the network that runs it. And apparently he had good financial backing, like legit, and there were people at Anthem that were like, this is a serious inquiry, we should take this seriously. And the people at the top of Anthem were like, oh, well, then we got to fire this dude. And they were like, well, you know what? Let's not do that. Because people were like, oh, there must be something else. There's got to be something else. It can't just be that Anthem wants control of this company and Scott was always going to fight them. It can't just be that. It turns out it was just that. It was just them being like, well, what if you weren't here? And that's going to be a bit of an issue, probably. We don't know what he's going to do next. Some people are saying, oh, he should go and run creative or help with creative at AEW. It could happen, but probably not. That he should go back to his own promotion and kind of build that up. If people were, well, if he had financial backing, he could invest in that. Well, that financial backing was probably, again, I don't know, but it was probably people who were like, oh, I would love to financially back a TNA that you run. Not, I would love to back a wrestling promotion that you run. right? It was probably like he can probably get some funding. If it was me, give him Ring of Honor. Yeah, hey Scott, run Ring of Honor. It is certainly something one could do. I don't know what he's gonna do. He's got a lot of people that really love him. There were people who the decision to stay in TNA was because they knew that Scott was going to look after them. It is shocking and interesting. Fall guy Tommy Dreamer told the locker room that if people want out of their contracts on a case-by-case basis, they can approach Anthem, to which people are also saying that's probably not everybody, but there will be people who are like, if they don't get out of their contracts, there will definitely be people who have made the decision in their hearts. Well, when my contract comes up, it's now not a no-brainer, which it seemed to be a no-brainer for many people, that they would re-sign if given the opportunity. And now perhaps that is not a no-brainer, and they will have to seriously think about it, as the new head of TNA is just a guy from Anthem whose biggest success out there was on another network getting WWE programming on that network. Like, that's a credit. So, yeah. Anthem essentially killed TNA because most people there only stayed because of Scott. I mean, yeah, like I said, it is an attempt to take further ownership of the thing, which on paper, I understand, right? If you are looking at TNA as programming, right? Well, then you kind of like let the people who know what they're doing do what they need to do, right? You worry about budget. You worry about, maybe you worry about signings and stories and are we getting good press? Hey, we got a lot of social engagement off that Joe Hendry Moose match where Joe Hendry used a Dreamcast. Could we do more of that? This social media belt that we have, can we like find other ways to integrate that along the network? So we didn't sign Will Ospreay because he seems like a big deal. Do we think we could still sign Will Ospreay? Like, you do that kind of stuff and you meddle where you meddle, and you're like, well, let's figure out where we want to put ads here and there and all that. And like, what about this old retired wrestler? Could we bring him in for a bit? Like, you do those things, right? Should we partner with the NWA? Because Billy Corgan, you do those kind of things. But if you own it and you're going to make money off of it making money, right? Then at a certain point, you start thinking, well, is Scott acting in the best interests of TNA, or is he acting in the best interest of Anthem? And you're like, well, if we had someone in charge of this, then they'd be doing what's right for Anthem, not what's right for TNA, because what's right for Anthem is right for TNA. And I understand how you get there. And some people have equated it to WCW and AOL Time Warner deal and all that. And it is somewhat similar to that, right? There is something that's similar to that. The problem with that era of WCW and the death of WCW is that people were like, oh, well, this is now no longer a Ted Turner loss project. Even if WCW continue to make money, and it would have kind of, it wasn't what they wanted. They didn't want it. And that's the difference. They didn't want it, and Anthem does want it. It's just that Anthem doesn't want it the way that it was going. They wanted it. They wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to own the company, control the company, and then have the company make you money. And that could work out just fucking fine. But that might be the next death of TNA, because who's writing the storylines, who's booking the shows, how many people are going to leave as soon as their contract's up, how many people are going to ask, how many people are going to quiet quit. Yeah, it's wild. Also, Scott D'Amore did know this was coming. He still was working under the impression that it was going to be coming, supposedly, that he was aware that, oh, okay, well, this is going to go. Like, look, they didn't let me buy the company, so they're probably not going to keep me around. But while he was doing that, he's the one who negotiated and booked this thing where Jordan Grace, their Knockouts champion, was in the Royal Rumble and looked fucking good in the Royal Rumble. Like, he still negotiated that and made it happen. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens at good old TNA. Like, who knows? Maybe a big shakeup is going to be good for that company in the long run. The thing that always kept me from keeping up with TNA is that there's just so many hours in the week that I can dedicate to wrestling. And for a while, they weren't on television. They were on Twitch. And the archives on Twitch weren't good. So I didn't keep up with them. I would have liked to have kept up with them more. And now I do catch stuff that's going on there more often than not. But it's usually after the fact. And it's going to be a weird thing for them to figure this out. I guess I say good luck to them, because I don't fucking know. But yeah, and then it's like, is TNA going to be an American company, or they're going to be a Canadian company? We don't know. We don't know all that stuff. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it is a shame. And Scott will figure something out, and then some people will probably ditch TNA, and other people won't. They'll go down with the ship, or it'll just chug along, because one thing is certain: there's always going to be a subset of the wrestling audience that refuses to like the best of it. And so TNA will always have a place in wrestling. Because there are people who are just always going to reject the success stories. They always will prefer the underdog, even if the underdog is incredibly terrible to watch, which TNA has been in the past. Just atrocious to enjoy. Never for the lower card, mid card talent, low card talent, always great at TNA. It's just their up card, the top of the card has been sometimes atrocious, and their writing often leaves much to be desired. Their storylines leave much to be desired. Knockouts division, like the first 2 years, not great, but at a certain point, just started kicking off and kicking ass. So, I don't know. Quick update on IGN. A majority of editorial and creative employees at IGN are unionizing. They are part of the Ziff Davis umbrella. Other parts of Ziff Davis are in the are in a union. So they are joining that effort. 85% of eligible members have already signed up for that. And they are expecting Ziff Davis to recognize the union, because they have recognized other unions with their own in their umbrella. So we'll see what happens there. That is a good move in a time where where media in general is always in a spot of uncertainty. Now, obviously, being in a union does not, guarantee employment or guarantee continued employment or anything like that. But there are people that will fight for you and help for you. Over at Remap Radio, they talk when talking about this, they mentioned how the Vice Union had lawyers that helped them with severance, and people that were getting like partial severance and fighting for that, and stuff that as Patrick put, he was not going to have the time and energy to figure out. There are people who were there to do that work, to help with that work, and how that is very essential. Keeping up with getting severances, negotiating packages that no individual person I should say, would be able to negotiate on their own. And so obviously in a time where all media jobs and especially all journalistic jobs are under the microscope and possibly gone the next day, a union doesn't fix everything. A union is no guarantee, but it's still the way to go, clearly. The idea that IGN will be a union house, is pretty cool. Hopefully, it'll all work out for them. Let's see. But yeah, I like to see union stuff. When you think about Deadspin and lots of stuff for the Geo media groups, and obviously unions did not prevent layoffs or closings, but they can hopefully help some people. Or just like the idea of like, hey, if you close this, if IGN folds, Ziff Davis, don't turn off the website in a day. Don't just get rid of everybody's work. Like, that can be in the contract, that there is a grace period of content being up. So people have time to download and back up their work. A reminder, folks, union or not, whatever job you do, if your work exists on someone else's server, have a backup. You can get that shit done. You can get that stuff crawled. You can get that stuff, you can submit web pages to archive.org. You can crawl your own stuff and pull it, and to organize it, you can back up stuff. Hey, maybe you're afraid that your work computer could have issues and you want to back up your contact list, because if there's an issue with your computer, maybe you need to have your contacts backed up. In my own personal experience, my layoff was I knew in advance that I would be laid off. So my work email had to be up for a while. A coworker of mine got laid off very late in the process, and their email got shut off before they got laid off, about 20 minutes before they got laid off, something like that, half an hour. So they had contact emails that they wished that they had been able to have, or backups they wish they could have. So you should back that stuff up, because you never know when those things might come in handy for your actual job, and then also for shenanigans. But yeah, it's good to have that stuff. Crazy says, that is exactly what I'm working on now, data analysis. Yeah, just like, it's good to have that stuff. It's just good to have that stuff in your back pocket. But if you put work out there on the internet, especially, you should keep that. Like, let's say, hey, are you a video producer and you would like to have a reel of some of the best stuff that you have produced? Well, you can get laid off, fired at any time, and that stuff should still be up there. But what if the company goes away? What if the company sells and merges with another company, and that new company decides any video made on, let's say, like UGO. You know what? We did it. We spent some money on UGO, and we made some videos, but we don't need those to exist on the internet anymore. Or maybe you were an employee at a company, and you left that company, and your work email was used to create the YouTube account to upload video to the YouTube site. So when your YouTube video your YouTube account gets shut down because your email account gets shut down. And now nobody has access to that YouTube channel, and they have to wait for YouTube to approve a change because they know someone at YouTube, so they can get it done. Maybe you want to back up all your videos before that, because you still fucking work there, but they laid off the guy that created the YouTube channel. Ugh. Don't take it for granted that any company is going to make sense or work hard for you, because they won't. Speaking of not working for you, let's talk about Crunchyroll. Okay, so later in this program, 20 minutes and 30, maybe 30 minutes after I do my ad reads, about 30 minutes from now, I'm going to talk about anime that I have been watching this season, 2 shows. Both those shows both the shows I'll be talking about are on Crunchyroll, because that is where the majority of seasonal anime happens. Stuff still happens on High Dive. Stuff still happens on Netflix. There are still other places where you can watch new anime, but the majority of it ends up on Crunchyroll. And when talking about this, a thing that has to be said, and I don't see it said enough, and I am, of course, a broken record about this, but I will continue to be a broken record about this. When I talk about Crunchyroll, I am not talking about the grassroots organization that started off as a torrent site and a ripped media site that went legit and became an independent powerhouse and then got bought, but like whatever, they were the pride and joy of the people that bought them. And then they got sold, but they were the pride and joy of the people that sold them. And the people that bought them started a sub-brand that they then sold Crunchyroll to, because they were worried about the international feelings on Crunchyroll. So they were like, well, let's put it under this other thing, because Crunchyroll can't really have things that aren't anime, but we want to license things that aren't anime and have things that aren't anime. And then so that happened for a while, and then they were like having that thing where it's like, oh, actually the parent company is this other site, but this one is still Crunchyroll, but whatever. Everyone still thinks about Crunchyroll, and they don't think about the other site. That's okay. And then they got bought. And that's the thing that needs to get said. When I'm talking about the moves that Crunchyroll made this week and have been making for years, I'm talking about Sony. I'm not talking about Crunchyroll. I've discussed this before. I will say it again. The reason why they went with the Crunchyroll name is for many reasons. Sony, instead of Funimation, when they merged Funimation, the site, the company they owned and already purchased, with the company that they were purchasing, which is of course Crunchyroll. One of the reasons they went with that is that people still think of Crunchyroll as that grassroots, pull up from their bootstraps, made it big, independent company. Funimation feels like they existed longer, they were known more internationally. Funimation felt more corporate than Crunchyroll. Lastwick says, I feel like this is a weird take. Like, I'm not going to say Yum Brands should bring back the double-decker taco. So what I'm saying, Lashbrook, is, I understand that people aren't mad at Sony for Sony's decisions, is what I'm trying to say. People are mad at Crunchyroll for decisions they're not making, right? Like I'm not mad at Mary Kish for Twitch making terrible decisions. Mary Kish is an employee of Twitch. She doesn't get to make those saves, right? She doesn't get to make those decisions. I'm not mad at Cody Rhodes for his storyline not making sense in the WWE. He's not at the level where he gets to make those decisions. But people always talk about Crunchyroll making this. Crunchyroll has done this. And when I say people, I guess I should specify. On Twitter, if you're talking about Crunchyroll's bad decisions, which again, I want to state, we're going to talk about them, are bad decisions. But like, Anime News Network barely mentions Sony. Their press release about it is Funimation app shuts down April 2nd as its accounts merge with Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll announced on Wednesday Funimation app will shut down. They talk about it. They talk about the content moving. And then the last paragraph is Sony Funimation Global Group completed its acquisition of Crunchyroll from AT&T on August 9, 2021. Funimation's home video releases are now listed under Crunchyroll. So they're not even saying, they barely say Sony in this one, and that's the best I've seen. Everywhere else that I've seen write-ups about how the Funimation app is shutting down, not everything on Funimation has moved to Crunchyroll yet, and if you made digital purchases of videos, not downloads, video purchases, if you made purchases on Funimation, the Funny Now, and you bought some content on there, you will never be able to see those again. Those are going away April 2nd. You bought videos to stream on Funimation, not the monthly charge. You paid for digital versions on Funimation. Starting April 2nd, you will no longer be able to watch those because Crunchyroll is not going to support those. And everything I see is Crunchyroll, 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 and I don't see, again, I only see it in Anime News Network. I don't see it anywhere else. Reminder, this is Sony. Sony made these decisions. Sony bought them. And I think that's missing from the conversation. Crunchyroll purchasing Right Stuff and then merging Right Stuff with the Crunchyroll store and saying, after saying they weren't going to change anything. Again, yes, that is Crunchyroll, but it is not the same Crunchyroll that it was a few years ago. And it's, I think it's important to take stock of that, because then we can have the conversation about how this merger shouldn't have fucking happened, because Crunchyroll has already increased its price since the merger and is increasing it again. Crunchyroll will be increasing their monthly again. Also, Crunchyroll, Sony got rid of the watch 1 week later with ads for new seasons. That you can watch old stuff with ads if you want, but new seasonal anime, there is no ad-supported free version. There used to be, because when there was competition between Crunchyroll and Funimation, they wanted you, even if you were going to watch it 1 week later, eventually maybe you're going to pay because you don't want to wait 1 week and watch ads. Maybe you want it now, so you'll pay. Well, they don't need to do that anymore. Crunchyroll does not have to compete for your eyes for other anime until Netflix starts operating. They start going for way more anime, or AMC starts investing more money in High Dive to become an actual competitor. But I think it's more likely actually, that part is misconception. The price is increasing compared to Funimation. The cheapest CR sub is already $96 a year. Yeah, no, I'm saying it's not a misconception that the price went up. It's a misconception that the price is going to go up again. You're right. It's not going up again. It's that the cheaper alternative for some of the content is going away. But Crunchyroll raised its price after the merger went through. And it did it, and they said that it went up to kind of bottom out because they were losing money in some countries. So that was their justification. Well, we're losing money in some places. But they did increase their prices since the merger. They just didn't increase it twice. And the cheaper option, if you want to stick with just the old Funimation stuff, and again, not everything has come over. It's going to go to a Google Doc here. This was last updated last summer. Yeah. There's just still a bunch of stuff that, as of right now, is still licensed on the Funimation site, but as of April 2nd, will not be available anywhere. And it's, let's see here. 185 movies and shows, some of which are only like the dubs. The subs have moved over, but the dubs haven't because of licensing. And a lot of it's licensing. But like, if you want to watch Slayers, like there's a bunch of Slayers, the Slayers that just isn't on Crunchyroll, but is still on Funimation. A bunch of stuff here. Steins Gate hasn't moved over. Mobile Suit Gundam stuff is moving over, if I remember correctly. Some of it's some live action stuff they're not interested in, but it's like, but the thing is that the stuff that I'm mentioning is, it isn't like those licenses expired on Funimation. They're still available on Funimation. They just haven't moved over yet. And the digital copy stuff sucks. Now, those digital copies, right? Those digital copies were included in purchases. They were bonuses. Like, you bought this, you also get that, right? Now, what some people might do is resell the DVDs or Blu-rays they purchased because, well, you know what? I've watched this a couple times. I still have the digital copy in Funimation, so I'm gonna resell this, or I'm gonna give this to a friend or whatever. Hopefully they do have the copy. Hopefully the copy they made, they also ripped, and they, store it on a server somewhere. But I don't know. It's not a great situation. It's a bad look. I merged my account because I did have a Funimation account for a while there, so I merged it together. Because part of it is this. Look, I am not telling you that I am 100%. I'm not even winking when I say this. I'm not telling you to pirate media. I'm not telling you to do that. I like paying for media because I'm a 43-year-old man who stole a lot of stuff over the years, and I like doing it the legit way and having good quality. And people say, the Crunchyroll app sucks. And I'm like, yeah, it does. I don't use the app. I watch on my computer, and I'm glad. And if I had to watch on my phone or on my tablet, I would be even more upset because it's not a good, the app is bad. The good app is going away and the bad app is staying. And that's a frustrating thing. We're body complete on this, by the way. So that's obviously frustrating. But I would say that if you are, if you are frustrated by this, like you fucking, and you want to speak with your dollars, I don't know. Yeah, sure. You should 100% do that. You should let them fucking know. But if you did buy anything and you do have digital copies of things in the Funimation app that are going away, you should fucking make sure you can get those. You should fucking figure that shit out. See if YT DLP has figured out how to get your Funimation stuff. It's complicated and annoying to do it, but it's out there. Get your backups. Get your backups going. All right, the Beam Sabers live here in the shield, which I've always loved. I love that, so we'll put that there. We're working on our shield now. We got a shield and a gun, and then we're going to be complete on this kit. The fairly straightforward to build, but still fucking pretty damn cool model kit here. All right, and that slides. That's cool. Oops, these fell out. That's not cool. But yeah, it's a bad situation, and it'll continue to be less consumer friendly as it goes on. because that is, yeah, these don't want to stay in. I mean, it makes sense because you got to be able to take these out, but I would like these to stay in while I am assembling this. If that could be, that would be pretty great. 24, 42. Yeah, I mean, it's still just kind of a mess. Let's see if there's anything else. We'll talk about demos later. WWE is going to be doing a series that is exclusively on X, aka Twitter. It's called WWE Speed. It is just non-consequential matches, like 5-minute or less matches that are going to air. You know what? Fucking sure, whatever. They'll exist only on X. Yes, make an exclusive series for X. Tout it out. That's exactly where the money is and where the people are. You may remember that WWE also had a series that streamed out on Facebook. The first ever Mixed Match Challenge, or Mixed Match Challenge, aired on Facebook video. And it's hard to find those old ones because they aired on Facebook. But yeah, that is where people got to see that stuff. Wait, did I? Okay. Am I putting this on the wrong side? Maybe that's what's wrong? Okay, I'm thinking I may have messed this up. I'm thinking now that I may have messed this up. That's what's wrong. Okay. This goes here. One of the reasons why these weren't fitting right is because I was doing it wrong, I think. I think I was doing this wrong, which is always great. But yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to watch WWE Speed, but I think it's a funny name, so I'll give them credit for that. And I think it is very funny to do a series on X. It's good luck to you. X going to give it to you. And in this case, it is, the thing it's going to give it to you is non-consequential wrestling matches. One thing I do think is very funny is they announced this at the kickoff to WrestleMania show. The dirt sheets today were being like, WWE Speed is dead. It's dead in the water. No one's talking about it. They're not doing anything with it. This was supposed to be a show. WWE got the license for this, or the license to trademark for this, and they taped a bunch of things in December, and it didn't go anywhere. Nobody knows what it was going to be for, but it's dead and not happening. And it's like, oh, no, it's happening. But it was very funny that after, weeks of no one talking about it, PW Insider was like, it's dead. It's like, oh, no, I guess it's not. I mean, it might be dead in the water, but it's not. It is technically happening. This made me laugh. Like, oh, yeah, that. Because I hadn't thought about it in a while and suddenly was like, oh, no. It's coming. Where does this go? Like this? Okay. So this goes like that. All right. And then this goes. The shield is weird. I'm going to say that. I don't know. There's just something about the shield that I find strange. And I do say that after assembling it incorrectly, it looks like. Yeah. I keep saying, like, oh, this thing is weird and this doesn't work right. And it's because I'm doing it wrong. And that's something to take note of, I would say. I should also mention, I'll mention a bit here as it goes. If you are interested in being a part of Plastic Model Weekender, general submissions are open. If you would like to submit for it, if you are a model builder and a streamer, and you would like to do some shenanigans involved in this event, I believe it is in May this year. So if you would like to, you could submit to maybe get a slot in Plamo Weekender. I will not this year. I may end up being a guest during a segment or two. And I will probably be a mod during the weekend and kind of hang out and help out for the live streams. But I am not going to do that. I have not made my exact decision I'm doing instead this year, but I do have plans to do a charity stream on my own stream here as opposed to someone else's stream. I will be taking part in a charity event this year because I really only have the bandwidth for one charity event per year. And so I'm going to take a break from Plastic Model Weekender and do something else. When that will be, I don't know. What exactly that'll be, I don't know. But I am going to take part in a charity event this year. I just think it won't be model kit building. And when I know more, you'll know more. Because I'll fucking tell you. Let's finish this up. We're almost done here. We're almost done with this kit. And then we'll take a pause to the cause, talk about ways you can support the channel. And then while I'm sorting Lego for the next build, I'll talk about, the anime I've been watching on Crunchyroll and the video games I checked out Next Fest. Right now, it looks like the stream that I will be doing next Tuesday, of course, Saturday and Monday streams as normal model kit building, Lego building, the usual. Tuesday stream looks like the Patreon's choice. The vote is in, and I will be doing WWE 2K23, the final WWE 2K23 stream, because in March I will be doing 2K24 when that game comes out. So we will be retiring all the belts. Every champion at the end of the stream will be the last champion. And I will do those live. I will not be pre-taping those matches. They will just happen. But every title will be on the line. And we might do some bonuses. But yeah, we will retire every belt. And then 2K24, even though I'll probably still do the NXT belts because those are fun to have. I'll probably still keep the NXT, but we'll have all new champions and declare, new winners and all that, new champs and all that. All right, shield has been attached to our kit. We got our shield on. Now we got to build a gun. Which is very easy because there's a 3-piece weapon here. And then we'll be done. They do have the lovely blue beam sabers. Lovely blue beam saber is here. So we do have that. And snip that, snip that, snip that. And then our machine gun is built. Oh, okay, it's got to go like this. There we go. And our gun is built. Pop this off. Get our gun in the hands, and then pop this on there. But yeah, so we'll do some WWE 2K23 next Tuesday so that I can do 24 in a couple weeks after that. Also in March, I know the first Tuesday in March will be that. I'm going to be getting some codes for some indie games that are coming out early in March. And we'll be checking those out probably. At least one of them has a demo out that I haven't played yet because I'm getting the game for review. Or for streaming, really. But yeah. All right. Got our weapons here. We got our one beam saber. That's the kit. This is the build. The Gundvolva is now the final kit from the final high grade from Witch from Mercury. There may be more. This was the last one that came out for everybody. I mean, there's some premium. I'm sure that'll come out. There'll be some premium Bandai of these kits that will be out in the future. But right now, this is it. This is the last one. So it'll be a little while before we do anything else from Witch from Mercury. The Aerial Full Mechanics is still a kit that I don't have, that I have not built. That I believe is now like the final. Two new premium Bandai Witch from Mercury kits up tonight, actually. Yes, Latswork, yes. So there are more out there. I don't know if and when I'll be putting any of those together. Can't tell you. But yeah, there are kits out there for me to work on in the future. For the prologue. Oh, okay, nice. The prologue ones. That's cool. Yeah, again, I don't know the next time I'm going to be able to work on any of those. But I also keep my eyes peeled for any new ones that are regular. So after our pause for the cause, I will sort through bag 1 here of all this Lego. Going to make sure I get all the pieces out because we are moving on to the Too Fast, Too Furious GTR-34. That's right. We're doing a racing car Lego set again, part of the Speed Champion series, and we're gonna build the GTR-34. It's gonna be pretty cool. We got a minifig. It is a right side. Looks like. We don't often do cars. We do cars here, but not always do these cars have minifigs. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Depends on the car. But we gotta get our Paul Walker here. Just happy, not Two-Face. Just happy. Get some hair, and then let's find our legs. I don't know where I looked. Oh, there you go. They were gray. Great, minifig done. But we'll get back into that in a bit of after some business. Business needs to be handled, folks. All right, if you are currently a subscriber here to the Build With Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here. I'm going to be talking about ways you, the viewer, right now, you watching this stream, and in this very moment, or in the future, on the VOD, because I exist now and also in the future. But when you're watching this in the future, it will be the past. It's complicated. But there are various ways to support what I do here financially, if you'd like. And obviously, you don't have to do it financially. If you just want to hang out, that's also completely valid. But being a subscriber is the easiest way because you're already here on Twitch through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get that token. You can use it for somebody. You could use it for me, your friend Pat, if you wanted to. You get these cool emotes like you see there in chat. You don't see ads. You don't see pre-roll ads or ads during the stream. It's nice. It's a nice bit of business. You can use those ads in various places. Maybe you need a desk site that looks kind of like me, or a Lego person that looks a lot like me, or just the Bear Cave, or me as Goku, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan me. You could have those, and I could have money, and that would be pretty fucking great. That's the easiest way to support me is right through this service here, right on Twitch where you are. There are other ways to do it. I'm going to go through that hopefully pretty quickly. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. The $3, $5, and $10 this very day, this very afternoon, got to start voting, and voting is still happening on what I do next Tuesday. So if you're on the $3, $5, or $10, head over to my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. Or if you haven't joined already, you can do that. And if you're in the $3, $5, or $10 tier, you just vote on what you want me to do. And I will do it because I will be forced to do it. And of course, I'm the one that put up those options, and I want to do any of them. So you can do that. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Obviously, subscribing to YouTube is free. But if you're over there and you're like, Pat, what if I gave you a little bit of money on YouTube? Well, you could. For $2 a month, you become a member. What does a member get you? Well, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So right now, my recommendation series, Kuma Baer, you would be able to see that a day early. It's pretty cool. Because you get that before other people. Now, I also have one-time donations because maybe you're like, Pat, I would like to help you out in your pursuit of buying model kits to then build those model kits and Lego sets, but I don't want to do it on a monthly basis. Well, I have a Ko-Fi and a PayPal, and you can just do a one-time donation. If you would like to just help me out, just every once in a while, you could do that if that's how you want to support me. And everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I buy model kits. I have a backlog of kits that I have purchased that I will be happy to work on in the future. They're all stuff that I think is going to be interesting for me to build, for you to watch me build. But right now, I'm working on stuff that someone bought me. That's right. The model kit that I just finished tonight was bought by someone anonymously who just wanted me to say Gundvolva a lot. And they got to. I said Gundvolva quite a bit. And this Lego set that I'm currently going to start was purchased by Aristofan. And through my Amazon wish list, it jumped the queue. I made a dedicated video about said items. And yeah, I'm not working on my backlog full of various model kits. I'm working on this because it was purchased. And if you go to my Amazon wish list, you'll see a variety of things that you could purchase. I have inexpensive Lego sets, expensive Lego sets, model kits of various prices, kits that are have free Amazon shipping, kits that don't have free Amazon shipping, stuff that fluctuates in price consistently, stuff that always just seems to be about the same price, all kinds of different things that I would be happy to build if you purchased it. Go see if there's something there you'd like to see me build on stream. You're obviously under no obligation to do that, but it would be rad because it does certainly help. And there's some gear at the bottom if you just want to help me out. If you're like, Pat, here, have a backup nippers. These are fairly inexpensive, but just have them as a backup. That would be nice. That would be great. You don't have to do that, but if you want to do that, you could do that. Let me see. What else can I say? I have a Throne wish list. That is my alternative to Amazon because I fucking get it. If you do not want to make purchases through Amazon, that makes a lot of fucking sense to me. So Throne is my alternative. And of course, the most convoluted way to help me out, the way that several people have done now. Well, I think we're at several. USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store. They send you a gift card code in your email. You then whisper me on Twitch or DM me on Twitter with that gift card code because my DMs are still open. And then I will build the thing that I will buy something from USA Gundam Store with the gift card that you have purchased. And you can make suggestions like Ghost Valve sent me 2 gift cards explicitly so that I could purchase the real grade Epion. And I did do that because of that. And it's like, yeah. It's like, here's the money for the Epion. And I was like, great, I'll buy that. Which is rad. This is fucking rules. Let's see. Is there anything else? If you want to support me and not spend any money, I have a Discord. You are more than welcome to come hang out in the old Discord. Love to have you over there. I post build photos. People post stuff they're working on. It's nice. A couple video links for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. I recommended some shows that I think you should check out. Feel free to watch that video. Find out if there's anything that you should check out. I'll have a new one up on Monday that I'll be recording this weekend. And then Kuma Baer, my weekly anime recommendation. I'm very excited to tell you about this week. To tell you about, oh God, I actually don't remember. Oh, it's Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. So the video went up yesterday, and I recorded a couple of these, and I forgot which one I put up. Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie is up. I hope you check that out. That is a lovely little series. If you are interested in a romantic comedy anime where the main characters are dating as the show starts, it is not a will they, won't they slow burn to figure it out. It is a exploration of young people in a relationship, seeing how that works. I am happy to report that it is already doing way more numbers than Oshinoko, which is the work. It did somehow more people watched the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which did not make the rounds on YouTube Shorts. More people watched that than the Oshinoko one. Now I know I cannot put Japanese words in this because I think that's why it didn't do well. But yeah, I already have a few people watching that, which is great for me. As someone that wants people to watch the things that I make, it's already doing better in one day than 2 of my videos have done in now almost a month. So that's cool. Watch that video. I think it's good. It's short. The idea of these is they're under a minute, so they're YouTube shorts, and then I put them on social media, on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok is interesting because I follow very few people. I do very little on TikTok. Oops. Getting some audio there. I clicked on TikTok and a video preloaded because I was supposed to go to my page and it didn't do that. It went to my For You, which is annoying. Oh, hey. Yeah, so that was annoying. I went to click on mine and instead a smart amount of text of somebody I don't know showed up. So that's frustrating. But yeah, some people are already watching that one on TikTok. But yeah, my TikTok at Pat Baer is like, I don't do anything on TikTok, so it's interesting to see if any of those videos take off, because I have like 11 followers on there. I don't follow anyone. I don't do anything on TikTok. My Instagram is a weird choice because I've been doing Instagram for a long time. My Instagram, and that one's weird because it's a lot of people that don't follow what I do anymore. They just like my photos. Like, I post photos of like me, selfies and stuff. That's really all I do on Instagram. So it's always interesting when people are like, "Oh, I like this video that Pat made." Let's see how that's doing. Oh yeah, that's already got views. Oh, Oshinoko did okay. Hey, Oshinoko video on Instagram did all right. I should also point out, and this doesn't mean anything to you, shouldn't really mean anything to you. To me, it is kind of important that my YouTube videos, the shorts, do okay, because there is revenue tied to that. Whereas TikTok and Instagram, I'm nowhere near the views I would need to get money out of their funds, because that's how they do it. They don't do, they just, their ad revenue is like, basically, there is no ad revenue. They pay out on views to a select group. I am not eligible for either of those payouts, but I am eligible for money on YouTube. So the video doing well on YouTube would be great. When it doesn't do well on YouTube, that's less great. I've already made $1 in February, friends. February is 8 days in, and I've already made $1, which is great. That's pretty good for me. That I've already made $1 in one time. It's pretty good. Pretty fucking good, I'll say. Again, doesn't mean anything. But making money on YouTube gets me closer to my $100 payout. And then that $100 that I get paid out from YouTube goes to buying model kits. So it does help you, because then I'll have more model kits to build. And I'm not going to use that money on an expensive nonsense model kit. I'm going to use that on a bunch of model kits. So hopefully that will indeed benefit everybody, because I'll have cool model kits to build. Speaking of cool Lego kits to build, I'm going to get started on this build here, start sorting and talking about some anime. But first, I need to drink some water and dramatically transition to the overhead right now. All right. Hello. Let's do it. Dirty says, "Dang it! Now I have the Little Rascals. I have $1 in my chant the I have $1 from Little Rascals." Sorry, Dirty. I didn't mean to do that. I'm not here to get songs stuck in your head. I'm here to build Lego. Lord Crashton wants me the dance button. Speaking of songs, I guess I'll hit the dance button right now as I start getting sorted together and start getting ready to talk about anime. Yeah, here's the dance button. Here we go. Oh, yeah. There's some good hand claps in this one. Boom, boom, boom. Good digital bass. There's no way a real person, like, no real instruments were used in this. Oh, I started over again. The earworms of our youth show up in weird ways. Yes, very true. I don't want to say what mine is because, one, if I start singing it or even say the words to it, it might get stuck in my head. And two, it might get stuck in your head. And I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in doing that for any of you. But when I think of earworms, there is one earworm that does come up in my head. And so I don't want to say what it is, but I do have a song from my childhood that does get stuck in my head sometimes. And then fairly recently, a YouTube series that makes fun of nonsense in wrestling played that song in the context of making fun of a wrestling thing. And I was like, fuck you, that's going to be my head. And and it was in my head for quite some fucking time. And I was, I'll just say, friends, fucking not pleased. All right, we're going to put blue over here. Got our booklet. We got our blue over. We're going to put blue over here. Got all that. So right now I am just knolling, everyone. I am knolling. Come on. And just sorting all of my colors here. And while I am sorting my colors of the Lego Too Fast, Too Furious GTR-34, I will begin to tell you about anime that I watched. It's Villainous night, everybody. And I got 2 Villainous anime to talk about. The first episode, Villainous level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord. If you haven't been watching this show, it is the story of a girl who wakes up to realize as a child, oh, I'm in it. Oh, shit. I'm in an Otome game that I played as a kid. I played this game. Oh, no. I'm the hidden boss. I'm the secret villain that is stronger than the Demon Lord. Shit. Well, I guess I better level up so someday I can defeat the Demon Lord if I have to, in case this game doesn't go the way it should be. And also, I'm not going to become evil because I have self-confidence and I was at least a teen, if not an adult. So I'm not going to fall to darkness the way that, the way that the character in the game did, because she was born with dark hair and dark magic, which are both very rare, and dark hair is associated with the Demon Lord, so not a lot of people have it. So I'm not, so she was kind of tormented. And of course, when the commoner girl, the main character of the anime or the Otome game, who can use light magic, shows up, and all of the most eligible dudes fawn over her. Of course, she would have a complex that would later turn into some sort of breaking with reality that leads her to joining the dark side and becoming the final boss. A tale as old as time. Anyway, our girl isn't going to suffer all like that. Also, I should say, our girl Yumiella continues to be definitely fucking on the spectrum. I must stress, this is not me saying, because I have seen a few people being like, why does she act like this? Why doesn't she understand, like, social cues? And, Patrick, the character Patrick, isn't mad at her. He's mad at her for doing this stuff. Like, he doesn't hate her. He's not going to, like, stop talking to her because she doesn't understand what's going on. It's like, oh, yeah, all right. Well, tell me you've never dealt with someone on the spectrum without... or you yourself are on it without telling me. A lot of people have no idea what's going on with this girl, Yumiella. But she is definitely someone who is just like, is very smart, but also cannot handle being social and is not, she is not prepped for that. That life is not the life she is, able to process. She is going through it and trying to figure that stuff out as she goes, and is very unsuccessful in it. In this case, in the last episode, she wasn't leveling up. She's level 99. They don't think she can level up anymore, but she was tasked with support the other students at this school who are going to do some leveling. They're going to do some leveling up events, and she found this to be tedious, and she had gotten in her head, you know what? I know a lot about leveling. This shit is not practical. This is, I'm going to blow this flute and summon a bunch of monsters, and then I can use my ability to freeze those monsters in place so that everyone can just attack those monsters safely and level up that way. So she decides that's the best way to do this. Of course, everyone freaks out. People are mad in the last episode. And so this episode rolls around. She's talking to the principal. And of course, you'd expect her to get chewed out. He just like, hey, I need you to relax a little bit. But also, that's because the principal was put there to keep an eye on her and to give her information by the king. Basically, he's there because a regular principal would probably kick her out of school, and they can't have her kicked out of school because they do need her to eventually help them defeat the Demon Lord, who's going to be there in 2 years. They know they need her as backup. Anyway, even if her event didn't go great, it's actually probably worse because the nobles, the second prince and his crew, and of course Alicia, who is the main character of the Otome game, she didn't get to level up at all because they were just trying to impress her because they're boys, they're teen boys, and they want to show the light user, the healer, that like everything's going to be okay. So there's another field trip to do more leveling. And one thing that has happened before that trip that's pretty fun is she and Patrick are talking. Patrick is the noble. He's a border noble who is strong and a good leader, and he's interested in talking to her. And they kind of have a nice little bit of communication between the two of them, and she is pleasantly surprised. And Yumiella wonders, will this be my first and maybe even only friend in school? Did I just make friends? She is really wondering that. She's like, it's probably too much, but I don't know. We're at least friendly, and that's nice. So they talk to each other, and that's kind of fun. And he lets her know that because he has gray hair, he has been, faced prejudice because gray hair is almost black hair. And so some people were real shitty to him. And he admires the fact that she is who she is. She doesn't hide her hair. She has long hair instead of like dyeing, bleaching it or keeping it short. She's like, no, that's my hair. And how impressed he is with her that she doesn't like, and she freely uses her dark magic, which not a lot of people have. And you think that she would be, hiding it or something, and she's not. And so he's impressed with her. And she's like, she thinks it's pretty great. And she, it's a nice little moment for a girl that hasn't had any real connection with people in school. And then it is time for another field trip, as I said, and she is on healing duty, and she is not allowed to do any kind of nonsense. And she gets told she gets told flat out, hey, do not play that flute and summon monsters. And she, of course, plays that flute and summons monsters. Also, they call it a flute. It's like a little horn. It's like a little like ram's horn. It's not a flute, but this is an RPG world, so they do call it a flute, even though it definitely does not look like a flute, and isn't a flute. It's just like a horn. And she summons a bunch of monsters. And Patrick has to take charge and help people. And she's like, oh, he looks mad. Oh, shit. He's mad at me. He's mad at me because the heated discussion that we had about training techniques, I just called him Patrick. I didn't show him respect. He's a Mangrave's son. He's higher ranked than I am. Oh, no. He's mad at me. And we know from watching this scene, he's mad because a bunch of monsters are showing up and his classmates are freaked out and he has to take command and like help. He's mad that she blew the flute. He's not mad that she didn't show him the proper respect because he's like a frontier guy and also likes her. So he's not mad about that at all. But she doesn't understand that. So, all right, we're now get into step one. So when they get back to school, she's like, well, I guess it's done. I guess we're not going to be friends anymore. It would make sense if he doesn't want to be my friend anymore. I guess I'll just go back to being alone and I'll figure that out. Alicia shows up and apologizes for accusing her of being the Demon Lord. She made that accusation 2 episodes ago. She was like, are you the Demon Lord? And she apologizes for that. And then Yumiella is like, oh, I know that she is scared of me. That takes a lot of courage for her to come up and apologize. And Yumiella, I should say, is gonna say something. But then the second prince shows up and makes a bunch of accusations about her. She's just trying to help in a bad way. She did fuck up, but she was just trying to help. And he's just like, he's making a bunch of accusations about what she did. Like she wants to hurt people, or she's trying to cause an accident or whatever. You may not be the demon lord, but you're dangerous and all this other stuff. But then Patrick shows up to defend Yumiella, and he's like, hey, she definitely should be talking to people, but her methods aren't, from a place of, her method. I agree. Students aren't taking this seriously. And she wasn't trying to hurt anyone, and no one did get hurt. So, be cool. And the prince kind of wanders off. And then Patrick and Yumiella talk, and most of their misunderstandings are cleared up. But it ends with Yumiella wondering if maybe they can become friends, seemingly not understanding, girl, you are already friends. He already thinks of you as his friend. What are you doing? He already thinks you are a cool, tough young lady, and he's already treating you like a friend. You're friends. But she doesn't pick up on stuff like that because my guess is he hasn't explicitly said, I'm glad we're friends, because he doesn't know he needs to say that. But he has not said that. So she is unaware that they have become friends. I want to point out, before I move on to the other Villainess story, these are 1x2 tall, and I don't know if I've seen these before, because this is a, let's see, just like a brick. Like, I don't know how to quite describe this, but it's a weird shape. Like, it is a 1x2. But it's not the same size as, like, let me see if there's something. Oh, like this. Like it's not the same size as this, but it's taller than just a 1x1. So it's not like a 1x3. It's a weird size that I'm not used to seeing. I don't know if I've conveyed that properly, but it's odd. It's an odd shape that I'm attaching here. I was surprised to see it. Now I'm going to tell you about Seventh Time Loop. The Villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. All right, so short thing. This is not an isekai, but it is a regression story. Our main character is stuck in a time loop where every time from the age of 15 to 20, she lives a different life and travels and does different things. And every time, because of a war that comes up, she dies and goes back to her 15th birthday. She's on her 7th loop. The last time, she was literally murdered by this evil emperor. Other times, it was because of this war that was happening. This time, she was like, I'm going to live a carefree life. I'm going to get away. That did not happen. She is now engaged to the man that has murdered her. That has either led to her murder or, like the last time, directly murdered her. That's what she's up against. She has been tricked in this past episode to meeting with Prince Theodore, who is the younger brother of Arnold. And Theodore apparently is trying to save our main character, Reese. I'm going to go with Reese. It's depending on who you talk to. There's different pronunciations of it. I'm going with Reese. Reese, he's convinced that Reese has been kidnapped and doesn't want to marry him, and he doesn't know. And if he does, if she isn't aware of all the bad things that he has done, but she is. So he is very confused because he's like, yeah, he's a war criminal. He killed our mother. And Reese is like, yeah. Also, Reese knew that this was not, that Arnold didn't invite her, and this was a setup by Theodore, because she invited Arnold to this meeting, because she was hoping they could talk and figure this out. So then Theodore leaves, and Reese is like, you are a good man. All evidence that I have seen points you to being a good man. Why are so many people convinced you are evil? And he's like, well, I did a lot of bad things in a war, in the last war. And then they kiss because they are emotionally invested in one another, and it is progressing. Their slow burn is progressing right now, which is interesting. Okay, so one of the things that's happening is they're going to have to get married, right? Reese has made the decision that she is going to try to involve the people that she's met in her previous lives and get a bunch of people on her side so she has a core crew of awesome people, because that will hopefully benefit her in making this the last loop. She wants this to be the last loop. So one of the people that she's trying to get is Kane. Kane is the guy that taught her business in her second life. And she has a bet with him that if she can have a successful business out of nothing, that he will join her side and be basically her partner in business. And he doesn't trust her. Why would he? So her plan is to develop nail polish and sell nail polish and get the maids to help make nail polish. And because she's learning from the maid that she helped out previously, Elsie, that poverty in that country is a huge problem. It is a concern for a lot of people. Reese offers Kane exclusive rights to make the nail polish as long as he hires people from the slums. The idea is like, we're gonna invent jobs. We're gonna create jobs. Be a big job creator. Basically, he's like, she tries to use the words that she learned from him against him, but those words she learned from a later version of him, kind of. So he's not buying into it. He doesn't trust her. And then she finally reveals her last escape card, like, hey, I know you've got a sick sister. And he's like fucking furious about this shit, because that's not something she should know. What's she doing? He's like, hey, I've got an herb garden that I have been cultivating explicitly to make a medicine to cure her, and I will give you the cure no matter what, because I still want your sister to be okay, even if this falls apart. If you don't want to work with me, you could have this. That's not me trying to win you over. That's me trying to help you. And Kane is like, you got me. Okay. I am going to help you out. You've got this. That sounds great. I'm on board. And this planning, Reese can finally relax, and she actually passes out from sleepless nights because she has been so busy focusing on getting this shit done that she has neglected her sleep. And in the process of recovering from her sleep, she gets fucking kidnapped again. Well, first time she got tricked to visit Theodore, and now she is literally kidnapped by Theodore. Elise is in on it, which is wild, and her guard is in on it. And they take her to Theodore. Dun, dun, dun. And we'll find out why Theodore has gone to such great lengths to kidnap his older brother's fiance. We don't know. We'll find out next episode. So we get some drama. We're getting into the plot is kicking up. Some things are moving. Some things are happening. I am still very invested in this show. This is still one that I recommend a lot. I think it is very solid, and I'm looking forward to seeing where a lot of this goes, because we are now I think during the next episode, I will have been caught up where I've read in the manga. I know some stuff about what happens in the next episode, but beyond that, I really don't know, and I'm interested to find out where this goes. Now is the part of the stream, friends, where I'm going to talk to you about what you're playing, what you're watching, what you're reading, what you got going on. I want to hear from you. And while you get ready, while your fingers are typing and you're telling me what you're playing, I'll let you know. Obviously, still playing Hearthstone. On Tuesday, if you didn't watch the stream, the archive is up the VOD is up on Twitch. The archive is up on my YouTube VODs. I played Lego Fortnite for the first time. Lord Crashton says, "What am I playing, Pat?" You'll tell me. I want to hear from you about what you're playing, Lord Crashton said. But I'll tell you what I'm playing. I uninstalled Lego Fortnite after Tuesday's stream. About 20 minutes after the stream, I uninstalled Lego Fortnite because it took up a lot of space on my hard drive. I totally get it. I totally understand why people are interested in that game, why people are playing that game. It is, for something that is fucking free, it is so, like, well done and detailed, and pretty fun. Did I? I said it first. You were going to tell us what we're playing. Sorry, I misspoke. I want to hear from you what you're playing, and I'll tell you what I'm playing while I give you time to write into chat what you are playing or watching or reading, because I want to hear about it. I misspoke. My apologies. I did not mean to misspeak. So yeah, I totally get it. But here's the thing about Lego Fortnite. I don't like games like Lego Fortnite. It's a good one of those, as far as I can tell. It's very creative. It's fun. I like the sandbox. It's very easy to set up. Or you could do the whole crafting thing and really search for things and chop down and punch trees until you have enough wood, and gather rocks until you have enough granite so you can make a pick, and then have several picks, because your pick is going to deteriorate over time as you have picks that you need to use, and all of that. And I totally understand why for some people that is their jam, and this seems like a good one of those, but I am not looking for one of those. I'm just not looking for one of those. So I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I checked it out. Again, it's free. It's Fortnite. It's a Fortnite thing. It is free. You can get in it. If you want to get in it, you can get in it. Get into it. But that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. So I'm good. I am good with that. And I do not need to continue to do that. Hearthstone, I'm playing Hearthstone. I still having a pretty good time ranking up in standard with my standard paladin deck. I have two paladin decks. I have a big paladin that cheats out big minions and is a control deck, and that works well against bots. And then I have a excavate paladin deck that is working pretty damn good. It's got excavate and beasts, and that's working out pretty well. I'm liking that deck pretty well. So I'm playing that in standard. And then, is there anything else that I am playing in standard? Not really. Or in Hearthstone, playing that. That's good. And then I checked out some demos, and I'll talk about some of the demos here that you've been playing here, and you've been checking out. So the one I played that you would be the most surprised about of the Steam Next Fest demos, the one that I played that you would be the most like, Pat, why did you play this? Was Dungeonborn with an E. Dungeonborn is a first-person dungeon crawler, and it kind of reminded me of, I don't know, like, it looked fucking cool. It's like an action RPG. I have notes. There's PvE and PvP in it, and it's the most popular. It's the most downloaded one on Steam Next Fest, and so I was like, I don't know, I'll try the one that's super popular. I don't think it's for me. I don't necessarily think that I'm gonna like go for it, but I did like it. It seemed fine. Um, yeah, I thought that was totally okay. Just, surviving in dungeons. Uh, it was pretty neat. Um, it's like, I know a lot of people that love Path of the Exile, or Path of Exile, not the Exile. We're really into it. Here's my actual pick. Here's my favorite of everything, because I think I played like 10 demos. Here's the best one. Of the demos that I have played, here's the one that I'd be like, hey, this is the one you should check out. It's a puzzle game called Duck Detective. You're a detective. You're a duck. You are recently divorced. You're broke. You're trying to solve some puzzles and solve some mysteries. You're like gathering evidence and placing words and stuff to solve puzzles. And it's kind of like a sticker book, or like not a pop-up book, but like a kid's book kind of art style. It's very fun. And like, it's goofy and kind of like, whimsical is not the right word, but there is like a silliness to it. But also, our main character is, even though he is the duck detective, he's very dry. He's not fully noir. The VA for the detective is going really hard. Yeah. So it is like VR adjacent, or it's not VR. It's not VR. Noir. It's noir adjacent. It's not VR adjacent. It's a little noirish. The VA is going for it. You're right. I really enjoyed Duck Detective. It is right now, I'd say, probably my favorite of the demos that I played. I'm only going to talk about a couple. I'm going to try more this weekend. Don't worry about it. Let's see. So those are two we talked about. Backpack Battles I tried. That got recommended to me by a friend. It's an auto battler, which I'm usually not super into, but it's a cute auto battler. And it's an auto battler with inventory management. And I can understand why you would not like that. And I didn't love it, but I did think that was kind of interesting. It is like pretty addictive. I would suggest a Backpack Battlers, which is 2 words, that maybe that's something that you would want to check out. All right, so I built this, but I haven't attached it yet. That's weird. I always feel weird about that when you like assemble something and they're like, move on to the next thing. You're done with this for now. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out later. That's always a little weird to me. Let's see. Are there any other games? I'm going to read what you all wrote in a second here. Normal Fishing is the last one I'll talk about here. There are going to be others I'm going to be checking out. Normal Fishing is a fishing game, but then other shit happens, and it's got a throwback pixel art style, like a minimalist pixel art style. But basically, like, you have to fish because your wife needs you to fish to be a breadwinner. So you got to do some fishing. And then weird shit keeps happening, and the game keeps moving around. There's like a bullet hell at one point in the demo. There is fishing, but then also there's a giant crab you have to fight and shoot. It's weird. It's real weird. So I would say Normal Fishing is pretty fucking rad, and you might want to check it out. It's listed as horror. It has not been horror yet, so I guess it does get there. So apparently shit gets weird in that game. It has not it's gotten weird. It hasn't gotten like that kind of weird yet, but apparently it gets there. So maybe I will hate Normal Fishing, but right now I think Normal Fishing is pretty cool. And that's all the demos I'll talk about tonight. There is one more demo of a game that I am going to be playing in March anyway. so I don't know if I'm going to mention it now, but I may mention it on Saturday. I actually haven't even played the demo yet because I'm getting a code for the game, so I might not check out that demo. But I will have more to say about these things in the future. Now I'm going to find these two pieces I can't find here. I got to find. I need to find these, and I can't. Let me double check. Okay, that was that, and then these are that. Yeah, these are the same. I got to look here in. Oh, here I found one of them. No, I need just find the. I found the other. Great, they were upside down. Lashbrook played a bunch of Steam demos. You said Balatro is really addictive. I am going to highlight that. I'm going to check out some of the stuff you mentioned here. Maybe I will talk about them on Saturday, but at the very least I will take note of the things that y'all are mentioning because that could be a good guide because there's a lot of stuff out there. You're slowly playing through the PC version of God of War because it kept crashing on your deck due to a memory bleed issue. Still a great game. Hell yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Sorry to hear about your memory bleed. Lord Crashton has been playing Helldivers 2, which is pretty rad. I forgot that did come out. Great. They go in all in Starship Trooper style, fighting for freedom and democracy stick, and the game is very fun too. I'm glad the game is very fun. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Sorry. Forgot if I mentioned I'm finally to Wano. Last week I had not heard. Hell yeah. Biggest hit to my pacing so far. I no longer can skip the OP. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Wano's opener is pretty fucking good. The Wano opener was a real like, hey, we're putting fucking money in One Piece again for a little while here because the anime studio are fucking amped for this one. We're hitting a big anniversary of the anime, and the manga is going to do 1,000 chapters. We're going to get 1,000 episodes. It's a whole fucking thing. We're in it to win it. Get ready for it. So, yeah, that fucking song goes for it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Wano. Detective, yes. And then Lord Crashton says, I also played some Foam Stars, which is pretty fun and keeps the matches short so it doesn't overstay its welcome. The unlocks are a bit lackluster, with the shop and battle pass containing most of them, which should make it a free-to-play game. Yeah, so it's not a free-to-play game. It's free with with Microsoft, with Sony, whatever. So it's free with Sony's stuff, and then eventually won't be free. So get it while you can. And if you don't have a Switch, it's kind of like Splatoon, but not really Splatoon. And it seems pretty fun, but who knows if it's going to be supported, and who knows if it's going to catch on. But I don't really have any urge to watch it anymore, but I understand why people are interested in it and having a good time with it. I think they're charging $30 after the PS Plus period is over. Yes. So it will cost money. Lasper says it's one of the best OPs, OPs, but like I still have hundreds of episodes to go. I hear you, Lashbrook, but it is a banger. So sometimes you just got to watch a banger song. I've talked about this before, how Black Clover did a ton of OP. Black Clover was a weekly, so it had a lot of opening and closing songs, and it went in rotation. One of the things Black Clover did that not a lot of places that is now way more popular, they weren't the first or even one of the first, but they definitely popularized using K-pop groups for their openers, and it hit real hard because they got some real goddamn bangers. But they just had a ton of excellent songs. But the best one is for their Chibi side series. And it goes so fucking hard, and it's such a good song. It's one of their best openers. Wasn't for Black Clover. It was for Black Clover Squishy, the chibi side story joke series that was on the Blu-rays that Crunchyroll put up, which is good that they put them up because you don't always get the bonuses. But it's so funny that like that song and the animation, it looks so fucking cool and he's so fucking jazzed, especially if you're like me and you liked Black Clover and you're like, fuck yeah, more Black Clover's coming. And then it's just like, oh yeah, this is the joke one. Enjoy the jokes. All right, that's going to wrap things up. We got to step 36 in our booklet. We're going to continue on in the future here. We got a bunch of this car done. We still have the second bag. I don't think we're going to finish this on Saturday, but we'll get probably pretty close. I will probably Knoll bag 2 on my own time just so that I can get everything together here. I'll probably do the Knoll 2 bagging just to speed up the process of assembly. So we might finish by the end of Saturday, but my guess is we'll probably finish up on Monday. Shout outs to Aristofan for buying this cool Lego set. But that is going to wrap things up here on our stream. Of course, we're not fully done because we do need to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We always end with a raid. We're going to go find someone doing cool shit that we want to go hang out with, spend a little time with them, see what they're into on a Thursday evening. Who is streaming? Oh, I bet they're finishing up, so we don't want to stream. We don't want to raid them. I actually don't know who we're going to raid tonight. We have not raided Matt Wiggins in a bit, so we're going to go. Yeah, we're going to raid Matt Wiggins because we haven't in a while, so we might as well go see what Matt's up to. Matt is playing Final Fantasy, what is it, 14 online. Okay, Final Fantasy 14. And Matt is doing squats for subs. So if you want to subscribe to Matt and force him to do some squats, I guess you could do that. Yeah, Aristovan, I am having fun. These kits have been fun to build. The doggo was fun, and this car is fun. So yeah, come along on this stream. We're going to go raid Matt. If you want to subscribe to Matt and force him to do squats, you could do that. If you just want to hang out while he plays some Final Fantasy 14 online, you can do that as well. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I would love to see you on Saturday as I continue working on this Lego set and hang out and talk. And I'll have more demos to discuss and more anime to talk about and more, and probably another rant. I probably have another rant in me. We'll see. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.